Okay, guys, I think we are up and running here. Stuff's working. See audio things happening.
Just make sure snap rails up.
Yep, checking that now.
Snapster.
Is I don't see Instagram up yet. I think
Just getting up and running, everybody. If you're joining us, thank you.
Yes,
How's that work?
because I schedule it in the morning, so people see that it's coming up.
And they can go on it before it starts.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Looks
All
like
right.
we're up
Welcome
and-
to the 034 live chats, episode 137.
Yep.
We're here to answer all your hot and burning questions about 034 Motorsport, products, services, history, anything you'd like to ask us. We're here to discuss general automotive concepts and frankly anything. We had some good beef brisket
Yes.
talk last week, and I think between Nate and I we're a wealth of knowledge on a myriad of topics. So,
Yeah.
but we usually end up talking.
Not strictly car things.
Usually end up talking cars. We take a no BS approach to responding, and I'd like to now add not as cranky as Gale Banks. Apparently,
I haven't
because,
watched those yet. I've seen them come through. I have not.
I just someone sent me his video where he's. I don't know much about the competition that he's annihilating, but he's just. It's literally Clint Eastwood and and
Get off my lawn stuff.
and what's that movie? Not Cadillac, but anyways, just like the cranky like old man meme of like Clint Eastwood grizzling.
Awesome.
So I like to think that we take on and myth bust, not quite as cranky.
Sure.
That's give me 30 years and I'm sure I'll be there. So anything that I missed? Oh, I'm Javad Shadzi, by the way.
Okay.
This is Nate Stewart. And we got questions rolling in, so let's jump in.
We've already been woofed. Just so you know.
Oh, we've been woofed. Okay,
Yep.
thank goodness. All right. We can. Okay, right. He didn't.
We got copied woofed and woofed. So
It's just as long as there's the woofs coming in. Hi, I was just wondering when the bump steer correction kit was coming for the MQB platform, and how much will it be? We don't have an ETA yet. We're still working on that. There's some engineering considerations we're working through. I don't think the cost will be high, so maybe, should be under $100 a pair or something like that. But yeah, as common, we'll keep you guys posted. Can you add PayPal to the checkout payment options? Yes, it has been for ages.
I was gonna say, is that not a?
I'm wondering why you're not seeing it. Shoot an email at contact@034 Motorsport if you need assistance with that. But we've been accepting PayPal since about 2003. So 20 years. With more power coming to the B8, B8.5 platform, and those of us that are adding more horsepower alternatively, do you have any reservations on the ZF8 DSG or manual?
Not really. We haven't seen any cause for concern on any of those transmissions yet. So
Nothing to base anything
the
off.
manual is clutch limited factory. You
Yeah.
gotta get
You're gonna need a clutch.
operated clutch, and a lot of the manuals life and health is up to the operator. So we have much less control of that. But I haven't seen any cases where we're like making enough torque to, or anywhere near enough torque to actually start causing structural issues.
Yeah. Everything has its limits, and so at some points those will be limited. But the benefit to the B8 platform is there's not a lot of torque.
Right.
The torque production is low, which means power and acceleration is generated from the horsepower curve.
Yeah.
More acceleration resembles more closely the horsepower curve. So they're still fast cars, but they don't have that sudden bam of torque like a turbo motor would. So it honestly these type of drivetrain weak link issues should be minimal for the B8 platform. Now, you're talking turbo 3.0 Ts, these are up in the 700-800 foot-pounds of torque,
Right.
You know, the torque range, so a lot. You said before that the cams come with the springs and retainers. You also said you'll be selling a Supertech package. Does this mean if I already have the Supertech parts, can I buy the cams separately? We currently are not planning on selling cams separately. They are a bundled package that we're selling. I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyways, so not at this time. For what it's worth, the springs aren't worth a ton of money. They're a pretty small percent of the price of the cams, so you could probably sell those off and recoup some of your money. The newest fastest Mk8 8Y quarter mile time 11:32 at 122.8 stage 1 E85.
Yep.
That's us.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So we did break the record again. Just so like 6 of your heads explode.
Yeah. There are others that have run as well and
yes.
posted times.
Someone did
got a
subsequently.
field of competition now.
Yeah, someone did run faster than our first time we posted, and then we just beat it again. So apparently now it's okay to say it's a record for some people. But exciting, that these cars are basically going to be 10-second cars with. I mean, our car is already a 10-second car.
This is completely
with
full weight,
tires
stock
and some weight reduction. So that's mind-boggling, and we're talking stage 1.
Yep.
I mean, crazy. The S3 could be the new TTRS.
Oh. It is astonishing how much more potent the turbo package is than the previous generation.
I mean, just imagine that car with a turbo upgrade and another 200 horsepower.
Yep.
Someone over the weekend asserting that low 11s are not fast. And
Oh.
that we shouldn't be calling that fast.
Oh, really?
Because in 2023 cars are faster.
Oh.
So
I think someone should let that person know that they should stop talking on the internet.
Yeah, there's lots of cars out there that have their own performance metrics. Like we're not talking like a Bugatti Chiron here. Like
when I was a kid, breaking into the 14s was fucking fast.
Right.
That was a big deal. Like there was a handful of production cars in the world that could do it.
yeah, a 5-second 0 to 60 was like that's specifically Ferrari 512 territory. Like when I was in high school, like
and like there were cars out there doing 12s, and these were like the basically 8-second cars these days. So if you think 11.3 is not that fast, you should shut the fuck up.
it's moving for off the shelf vehicle and mods.
Like I wonder if they've ever even driven a low 11-second car. It's fast. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Asking about MK8 Golf R tune. We are finishing everything up. Our goal is to release in the next week or two, so stay tuned. AY S3 DSG tune, similar boat, right?
Yep. That's
It's all coming very soon.
along
So.
very, very well.
And as you can see, very, very fast and powerful. Thank you, Nick. 4.2 liter S5 upgrades. We have lots of chassis upgrades and things like that, but we're not really going to be getting into motor performance on that platform specifically. I think JHM, jumped on that one and was trying to do some stuff. We did some stuff for them through them. That's private labeled.
Yeah,
but
that's the 4.2 stuff in general. We kind of let them do that.
yeah, and there's unfortunately not a lot to gain there. But it's just be lucky to get another 20 or 30 horsepower with tuning and some bolt-ons.
flying in a question.
Yep.
Since you now offer rods for the B9s, does that mean a stage 4 tune is in the works? We're not working on anything that, stage 4 at some point, I'm guessing, would be like a full frame turbo or something like that.
Yeah, we will likely offer a built-in motor 810 package, 810 software kit setup. But there'll be more coming for those with built motors. But
stage 11 is coming for the B9.
Yeah, there's many more upgrade paths on the way.
Yeah, it's a great platform, and thank God we have a great platform.
Yep.
And and kind of a bigger chassis Audi.
Yep.
It's really, really nice. Someone's asking, is there more power left for A10 once we go do internals? Yes.
Yep.
Nate just answered that. There is more power in the A10.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, like, you're not going to get another bump in power
No.
compared to where you are now, but there's
definitely
certainly some on the table.
Yeah. How's the AYS3 Mark 8 Golf R fuel system looking on full E85?
Pretty capable.
It's a very capable fuel system compared to the Mark 7.
Oh god, yeah. It's certainly
more
stronger than the Gen 3 motors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, these like we just said at the beginning of this, the stage 1 11.3 time right now is stock fuel system, front to rear.
Will you be developing coilover kits for Mark 7, Mark 8 platform? We don't currently have plans for that. Our Dynamic Plus spring kits work so well in those cars.
Yeah,
So easy to install. They're affordable, and street or track performance. They kind of do it all. So the challenge with coilovers, the nice thing is you can really fine tune your height to get it right where you want. The issue is getting a coilover kit to perform, especially with adjustable dampers, and finding and setting up the shocks and springs and the height and everything together. It takes actually a lot of testing and a lot of work that almost nobody does. So we do all that for you by developing the springs. They're optimized to work with the factory dampers, and we haven't really seen cars on coilovers handling a lot better or going faster on track than cars with our optimized spring setups.
Yeah, we have a couple of the uncuts about this, and just what it takes to really get a proper coilover system
Now,
dialed in better than an engineered spring package.
If you do have a really good coilover, like say like an Olin's or JRZ or something like that, and you take the time to set it up, absolutely the car will be a lot faster than anything that we could do with factory parts. No question about it. But I mean, there's just a lot of crap coilovers on the market that are actually worse than stock.
Yep.
And there's some good stuff out there like KW stuff, but I think, a KW V2 or V3 kit would really have to be set up well to perform better than what we do with the Dynamic Plus springs.
Measurably, yeah. To be able to put like the same driver in two different, the same setup car with just the suspension changes and see a difference.
And in fact, it could handle a lot worse if the settings are off, which coming out of the box, they're usually not.
It's way easier to make it worse than as good or better.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you could kind of equate it to, you're going to bake two cakes. One is a box mix from Duncan Hines, and then you have no idea how to make a cake, but you're just going to guess by taking flour, sugar, eggs, and water, and trying to make your own cake. The chance of you getting a better result than the Duncan Hines box cake is really small, unless you really know how to bake cake. And this is the kind of case. Few to none of our customers are experienced or trained on setting up suspensions, adjustable suspensions. So in that case, the ready to go prepackaged version is going to get the better result. And I'm not saying 034 is like Duncan Hines box cake. The analogy doesn't work on all the angles. Did you provide parts to the Hoonigan Throttle giveaway for the B9 S4? I'm planning on winning and going full stage 3 A10. Well, good luck with that.
Yep, please do win.
Yeah, it's no secret that we are a part of that and have given lots of parts and support to the program. There's full videos on it, on all the parts, suspension and otherwise, that we've put on the car. So, but yeah, so far we've done front and rear sway bars, our trans insert, strut tower base, our carbon fiber covers, things like that. They're leaving the tuning stock.
Yeah, has to stock for
Right.
colors.
Makes sense. How does it feel to know this live chat is the only thing I look forward to weekly? It's a lot of pressure, actually.
It is.
So, no, we appreciate that. It feels good to know that you look forward to it. Thank you. I actually look forward to it as well.
Oh yeah.
That's why I actually plan vacations around this and stuff like that. It's pretty rare that we miss one.
My wife keeps asking me why, like, there's people still asking questions on that? Like, yeah.
They haven't
we
asked
get, we
them
get
to answer
pages of them every day.
Yeah. She's probably like, why haven't they run out of questions yet? Anything coming for the BMW F30? Yes, we have sway bars and our carbon fiber X34 coming. Any plans for tunes with the 4.0 TC7 platform? We have plans, but they're really not. They keep getting pushed for other stuff. So don't hold your breath. We'd like to do it all, but we have to choose, unfortunately. Is there a difference between open air intakes and shielded intakes? I'm glad this question came up because there's some controversy around this Gale Banks video that he put out, and we do offer two style intakes, and they're often referred to as open and closed style intakes. Usually our S34 intakes are a shield, which sections off the air filter and shields it from the heat of the engine compartment. The shield typically goes up in close proximity to the hood, so offers minimal leakage from the engine compartment. And we always take advantage and access the cold air coming from the front of the car, where the factory intake also draws air from. We do have some closed intakes as well. We really started doing those for kind of European regulatory issues like TUV, where you can't run out and when the hood is open, you're not supposed to see the air filter. So we've done some close stuff like that. There is a misnomer that our intakes are open to the engine compartment and allow heat from the engine compartment into the engine. That's totally false. There's really not a lot of open intakes on the market. And when I say open, I'm referring to the air filter is open into the engine compartment. APR, actually, I'm going to call APR out. They have a DAZA intake that's literally just an air filter sitting in the engine compartment.
They don't have a shield around that?
No, they don't. They don't offer or sell a shield. They never have.
Wow.
Lots of people run it, from what I've seen, and I've never heard of any issues with performance from it. The reason is likely because when the car is moving, there's not a lot of hot air sitting in the engine compartment. When the car is going 30, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, there's a lot of airflow through the engine compartment.
Right. And all of these, from B6, 7 air and onward, there's specific ducts that take a portion of air from the grill opening and direct it directly at the intake, either airbox or the filter area that,
definitely B5 era for sure that started.
There's pretty substantial airflow directing into that intake, directly into that filter.
Our S34 intakes do shield from heat. They are cold air intakes. And, we do all our tuning and calibration. All our advertised dyno numbers are done with our intakes on a dyno with the S34. And you can ask anyone who runs our intakes. They can log their air temps. They don't have hot air temps. Our intakes make power. They provide cool air to the engine. We test this. We don't have to guess. We have even data logging and thermocouplers, all throughout the intake system to verify this. It's just not an issue with our intakes. There are other intakes on the market that have really bad designed shields or no shields at all. Those could be questionable, but overall, hot air getting in through the intake is really not a big problem. It gets much more overblown. From what I've seen and we've seen on the groups and on the forums.
It's tough to make generalizations like that too, because you've got other platforms where the motors, compared to the VAG stuff, flipped. You've got turbos in front of the motor now, so you've got a potential for much more, high heat generation where you would have an intake that may not be shielded. But in our case,
what we should do is we should just do a video where we put some thermosensors, kind of behind the radiator support, and then show the temperature of the engine compartment at different speeds.
Just the ambience in the day. Yeah.
And I think that would pretty much once and for all end the discussion.
Can I swipe my credit card and buy some stuff?
Mm-hmm.
expensive?
I don't think you need to. We have everything. Yeah.
Got you.
Hell, I'll bring in my fucking barbecue temp sensors. You know?
We've got all kinds of sensors and
It
gauges.
has a magnet. You can stick it to the hood and just watch it. But it measures down well below ambient and up to 500 degrees.
There was
Yeah. Can an X34 intake be converted to an S34 for the B9 S4? I don't think so. We will offer all the S34 parts and conversion parts and anything that you'll need. You'd probably be better off at just selling your X34 used on the used market. Our parts actually do very well in the used market. So any more questions about intakes, please ask. But there's just a lot of misconceptions. And trust me, if this was a big area of or a problem with performance, we would be all over it. And we do address it. But like I said, again, APR's intake, which is literally an air filter sitting in the engine compartment, performs just fine. Maybe the air temps are a little higher right off the line, you know, but once the car is moving, it doesn't matter. Is the E40 on the stage 1 for the new B8.5? Is the E40 for the stage 1 for the B8.5 new? And when will we get the horsepower numbers? It's not a new tune.
Not new. It's been out for a year and a half, maybe 2 years now. Maybe even no,
Longer.
I think it's longer than that. You know, horsepower collection and dyno data for that tune in particular is a little tricky in that we need to get a completely bone stock car set up again on our dyno to do the collections here. So I don't have a good time frame of when we might have the free time to get that set up. In a way that we can use it as a marketable data point to update our website for you. It's just not been a, high priority with everything else we've got on the dyno.
Yeah, but it's not a new tune. It's
I don't
free.
know.
It makes power.
Oh yeah, no, it's a huge bump up from the.
It would be nice.
The pump gas.
It would be nice to do.
You can typically take what you could do and what it probably will correlate to almost directly is take the 104 octane number that's up there, and it's essentially equivalent to the E40 for the stage 1. So that would be where you'd be landing at roughly.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything for data logging?
Yes,
we do.
Lots of things for data logging. It depends on the platform and what we're looking for. But if there's a reason you need to log something, or want to chat with us about it, just set up tuning at 034motorsport.com. We can let you know what your options are. But no, we have very deep data logging tools here that we use, and we offer a lot of them to be used in support and validation roles.
Any further developments with 034 CREC tune for the Audi A6? Yeah,
Yep.
we're still working on
it. That is being worked on right now.
What's coming next for the Mk8 GTI?
We got tuning. Yeah, stage 2
Stage
tuning
2,
is in the works right now. Your stage 2 transmission software is you'll be seeing info on that very soon. And that car benefits greatly from that stage 2 TCU file too.
Plus springs.
Yep.
There's a bunch of stuff coming. We already released the intake. We have our throttle body inlet coming soon, which we will sell as a bundle with a hose and intake. Rear main seal for C7 3.0T. I think so. Is it the same as the B8?
yes.
Yeah, it should be the same.
It's coming soon. Yep. IOBR's billet style rear main seal.
Oh, you're right. This thing is just a tube and a filter.
034. Yeah, there's nothing to it. And they sell the pieces separately too. It's so weird. 034 Turbo Inlet Pipe on the EA888.3 MQB is amazing. Almost 2 years in with it. Thanks, guys.
Oh, nice.
Glad you're happy. It has proven to be one of the best flowing on the market. For the burble tune, flame tune, is it configurable via steering wheel buttons or no?
I have no idea what tune you're talking about. I'm assuming B8 advanced launch stuff. Steering wheel buttons, no, but it is you set your launch RPM with the cruise control stock, so very close to the steering wheel. I guess, yeah, you would be putting it in dynamic mode potentially through the steering wheel if you've got one of the aftermarket upgraded ones. So maybe, but no, that'd be the only tie-in is what drive mode the vehicle's in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's controlled through the cruise control stock. We've got videos on our Uncut channel that'll walk you through how to set that up.
Someone's asking, does the new oil catch can for DAZA need to be disconnected in the winter like DSG catch can? And what ambient temperature should I look out for in garage outside for intermittent Dallas winter? All right, I don't know if you can really say that you've got a winter over there,
Yeah.
buddy.
They do get freezing.
They get freezing, but it's not. I mean, I never had problems with
We
my
get freezing
cans.
here.
Yeah.
It was freezing last week. It's not much of a winter. Yeah, so let me just answer this real quick. Yes, if you actually experience winter, and I would say substantial freezing temperatures, especially anything like around
digits,
0
yeah.
degrees or single digits or below 0, then you should remove it. I would say anyone, in the actual winter zone, I would say, I don't know what's the line that where people get real winter in the U.S. like. Is it Mason-Dixon? I don't know. Nebraska, Kentucky, and north, kind of that region. Idaho.
Do your legs freeze over?
Yeah, do you get frozen legs? Now, if the outside temps dip down to 30 degrees, no, you're not going to have to do this. Your engine compartment, has a lot of heat, just kind of stored in it, and that heat has a lot of inertia, so it will last all night long. If you're in a garage, no, you don't have to worry about this. I would not recommend anyone in California do it. I don't think you need to do it in Dallas.
No, there's Tahoe.
Okay,
There's mountains in California.
And there's a
but
small
yeah.
sliver of
Yeah.
California that does freeze all winter long.
Yeah.
And gets actual real winter.
Yeah.
But I would say generally, if it's not consistently below 20 degrees for weeks on end, then I would say just leave it. But what happens in these areas that get like 0 degrees or 5 degrees, everything freezes, right? Everything in the garage freezes, and everything in your engine compartment is going to come down and get below freezing. The issue isn't if that happens once here or there. The issue is if you drive kind of short distances and it's freezing for weeks on end, then you will drive your car consistently with no crankcase ventilation. And that's when longer term issues happen and oil starts going to places it's not supposed to go. Generally, it doesn't cause any kind of permanent damage, but in Dallas, I think you're fine. Don't stress about it. You're good. Yes, and speaking of the catch can, this is our brand new DAZA catch can. This is for 8V.5 and 8S TTRS era vehicles. We do have two different kits, one for the RS3 and one for the TTRS. This is a multi-chambered design that catches and removes oil, drains the oil back to the crankcase. There's nothing wrong with the oil. The oil is just in the wrong place at the wrong time, but it's good oil, and it can be returned home and to live a safe and productive life back in the crankcase. We provide all adapters and fittings, some trick little billet adapter fittings, and we basically intercept the factory breather crankcase provision. Instead of having it dump right into the turbo inlets, we route it through our oil catch system first, and then we return much cleaner air back to the crankcase without kind of liquid oil in it. This is, we would recommend this for any and all TTRS and RS3 vehicles, especially if you're driving on track. It's definitely a good idea where oil sloshes around a lot. But we've even seen oil in the intake system on street-driven cars. So we tested this extensively on our in-house TTRS. Available for $565 in stock, ready to ship. Beautiful billet aluminum construction. There's even a dipstick, so you can check the oil level if you'd like.
Yeah, that's more for the non-drain back, obviously.
Yeah, but if you
get some issues.
if you suspect the breather system's not breathing properly, you can always take this out. This would also notify you, it let you know if there was pressure in here. You feel air blowing out, and then you can see if there's anything on the dipstick. But like what Nate said is, if you have the drain installed, which you should, because we include it, then you're not gonna have to ever drain this can. Let us know if you have any questions. Hey 034 dudes, any thoughts on a DSG catch can for the Mk7 MQB platform? DQ250 6-speed, getting lots of spinning on track with the OE vent box. Yes, we will be releasing our own very soon. Something we've been working on and testing for some time. The VWs don't have quite as bad of the issue as the 5-cylinder cars.
Yeah, the DQ250 in general has been way better than the 530.
It's better, but like you just confirmed,
There are some, yeah.
There are issues with it. So ours definitely solves that and prevents that. Definitely recommend doing that with our catch can setup as well. You'll have a very good track car as far as like oil and sloshing performance.
2 pages.
Yeah, I know there's a lot. What future plans do you have with the B9 3.0T? Definitely big turbos, in the future, and built motors. And we're not going to say too much more than that. We are testing and looking at different turbos. It's expensive and time consuming to evaluate these things, and don't necessarily want to hand that over to the competition. Are springs coming for heads on the EA889 engine? Yes, we will list springs and retainers for those motors as well. Actually, all the VW Audi motors have basically the same spring and retainer setup going back a few generations now. You guys said the cams for the B8.5 at 30 horsepower. Is that stage 1 or is this overall like stage 2 plus?
Again, the example we gave was for our car here.
And what stage is
was
that?
currently on at the time was on a 2 plus file.
Yeah, so the 30 horsepower number that we quoted, that we tested, is on our in-house car. That's a 2 plus.
Yep.
We haven't quoted numbers for different stages. It stands to reason that a stage 1 car could be a little less gain, but we don't know. We haven't tested that. We're very pleased with the performance on the stage 2 plus, and it bodes well for all the other stages. And the way cams add power is by increasing airflow through the motor. So it could be 30 horsepower on all the stages, or it might not be. But we will continue to test and publish data. I wouldn't get too hung up on the 30 horsepower number exactly, but
it's going to vary.
It's a power. Yeah, it's a mod that gains big power for B8 at this stage in the tuning development for these cars.
Yep.
And rest assured, it's a mod that will generate a good power gain. How much is going to depend on each car and application.
Another question, exact same question right there.
Yeah, we already answered that. What's the time frame for advanced launch control features on B9 cars?
As soon as I can get it done.
Soon, hopefully. We are working on it and pushing to release it as quickly as we can. How realistic do you guys think a 700 wheel horsepower setup would be on the B9 platform in the future?
Dude, honestly,
we're there.
It's there.
We're pushing high 600s.
We're mid 600s on our dyno, which is proven to almost every other dyno that people use. Is you're probably at about 700 wheel on our 810 E60 file.
Yeah, and depending on the dyno and the day, 700 wheel is already achievable. Yep. But yeah, I know it's very reliable, and in the future with built motors and stuff, it will be even more so. Would it be dumb to put air suspension on an S4 and track it? Overall, I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
Air suspension is nice. As kind of a lifestyle mod, if you want to raise and lower your car different heights, if you want to air out at the club, you want to impress your friends by going up and down with the air. It's generally not a mod that will make your car handle or ride better. There was definitely not like for track use.
Like a bunch of guys that were doing like track testing years back with when air ride stuff was really picking up.
On Subarus, there was some.
There was some on Subarus. I want to say there was some Audi stuff in there too, but it was like you could get it about basically as good as a spring if you were lucky. but it still adds weight, still adds complexity, still adds all the other caveats that come with it.
I think my view of air ride on a track driven car is you'll be surprised how not terrible it is.
Yeah,
But it's not going to be better.
yeah. I would
You
not,
may as well keep your car stock.
yeah, I would never install one as a performance mod to go to the track with.
The big issue that we've discussed before is, you have this variable spring rate with the airbags. And so the higher the car is, the higher your spring rate. The lower it is, the lower your spring rate. If someone could, and this probably exists, but an air ride suspension that the height adjustment was independent of the pressure in the airbag, that would actually be pretty cool.
Well, which should in theory work then for a spring setup too.
Yeah.
You'd have like an actuated perch or something.
Yeah. I actually did see something like that at SEMA years ago for off-roading, where you'd like reach in there and there's like a little wrench thing and you turn it and it would crank the spring to perch up and down. But to be able to do that dynamically, I haven't seen that. So, what's the best way to pass an emissions inspection on a B9.5 with stage 3 TT810 with upgraded injectors and a high flow catted downpipe?
No, that's not a thing.
You can't and you shouldn't try. That is technically a racing setup for racing use only.
Yep.
So if you want to go smog, you need to have a stock vehicle with stock calibration or
for
a carb exempt file like we will be providing. Are the internals any different on the MQB Evo versus the Mark 7 8V? I mean, they're different motors. One's a Gen 3
I don't think
and
there's
one's
enough.
a Gen 4.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough difference in them that they've got drastically different power limits.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think for practical purposes, you can assume that they're the same strength, but they're not the same motors. Are test pipes mandatory for dual pulleys on the B8.5?
Nope.
No.
We have stock. I have such stock catalysts on my car.
In fact, the B8s do make a lot of power with stock cats.
Yeah, it's not really a performance thing. That 30 wheel cam testing we're talking about, that was always stock catalysts.
Yeah, that's stock cats. Yeah. Are we ever going to see a fully built B9 S4?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What's the horsepower rating on the X34? And we've talked about this before. The intake itself doesn't produce more power because these ECUs are torque request. So you could put the world's...
We went super fuzzy there, guys. I don't know what's going on with the focus.
You could put the world's best flowing intake on a stock vehicle, and it's still going to make stock power because the ECU is dictating how much power is being made. So what the intakes do is they allow the potential for the ECU to make more power. And so with our intakes, there's really no limit on how much power the factory ECU can make when calibrated correctly. So the goal of the intake is not to get in the way of the tuning, and our intakes do not do that. Now, in some cases, you'll see us quote horsepower gains, and that's with the specified tune.
Right.
So say, on our B9 S4 tuning, stage 1 with our intake can make an extra 15 or 20 horsepower. I don't know what the number is I'm just quoting, but if you see anyone out there saying that that an intake will make X amount more power, it's just not true on these vehicles because the factory ECU will make sure that it doesn't. We talk about this.
Yeah, the biggest thing you can measure there that makes any sense. I'm sorry if you already said this. I was playing with the camera. Is pressure drop across the stock intake compared to ours. You'll often see us posting those data numbers because that's the only thing you can really measure.
CFM flow potential.
What that translates to then is a much more efficient power delivery. So you're gonna have lower air temps. You're gonna have a more repeatable, longer duration that you can run those power levels at because you're not asking so much of the either the turbo or the supercharger to make the boost level that the factory ECU is trying to make. So there is gained performance, but it's not necessarily on hit number one.
Yeah. Let's keep cranking here. Considering the TTE810 is now out for the 3.0 T, is it still relevant to get the 2.9 TT?
They're different. They're still very different platforms. Well, very different. They're their own beast.
This debate would be relevant if the 2.9 TT was available in an S4. It's not. The RS5 is a totally different car. You know, it's quite different. So yeah, if you're looking for a 4-seat coupe that can fit, you know, 295s all around, in a sleek coupey package, you're not going to get that in an S4. Both motors produce a lot of power. The TTE 710 and the TT 810 are both very fast cars, about the same quickness. So it just more comes down to, you know.
You mean the 720 on the RS5?
Sorry, 720 and 810. The 810's capable of flowing more, but in practice, both cars are high nine cars, pretty much full weight street trim. Since 034 is now expanding and exploring new platforms, which have been difficult to mod tune out of the 034 tuning catalog, which is your favorite to drive now? We haven't explored that much. We've done the BMW F30 340i program. We have one of those in house. I've actually spent the last week driving that car. It's a phenomenal car. The thing is ridiculously good in the rain.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
It's got an open rear diff, so it doesn't get too squirrely, but it finds a lot of grip and acceleration in like pouring rain. It's pretty impressive for not being quattro. But you know, I don't know. All the cars are fun to drive. They all have their own little personality and character. I'm still always blown away by the Mk7 GTI when I get into it. That thing's just a riot. It's literally the entire catalog, and it's fast. It handles like a go-kart. Super fun and engaging to drive. So yeah, but we haven't branched out that much. You know, it's not like we have 7 different BMWs and 4 Mercedes and whatever else here. So we're still pretty Audi Volkswagen focused, but we're starting to adapt.
No Hellcats or Chargers out there.
No. Before I go stage 2, should I get the handling package or just get the downpipe and intercooler and worry about the handling after B9 S5? I would personally, there's not that much to gain in stage 2 compared to handling. So I would strongly recommend not worrying about stage 2 right now and focusing on doing our handling and chassis parts.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, the intercooler and intake are going to get you like basically there for the stage 2 stuff. That obviously it sounds like this might be a street car, so yeah, keep the stock stuff in there and the stock catalyst in there, and just
yeah.
You right over there?
That you guys can choose to do with.
Let's see. Notice you had the intake off in some photos last week. Are you making something for us B9 guys praying for 1,000 horsepower? I'm not sure. Yeah, it may have been a picture of we had a B9 3.0 T motor on an engine stand. It may have been that. But yes, 1,000 horsepower for the B9 is coming. Someone's asking, a lot was said about IE dropping their B9 RS5 over the weekend. Their tuning over the weekend. What are your thoughts about their horsepower numbers? I personally want to see quarter-mile numbers and trav speeds. I can't imagine they are real numbers or safe.
So I mean, they've posted draggy stuff.
They did.
Yeah.
They posted a draggy that's substantially slower than ours. You know, slower enough that it doesn't support their higher power claims.
Both in trap and ET.
I think there was some chatter about this on the 034 customer group over the weekend. It just blows me away at how much people make of these advertised numbers.
We keep talking about it, and it's like I don't know how.
It's like
so hung up on.
It's like two guys at high school, and one guy's like, "My dick's 8 inches long," and another guy comes over and is like, "Oh yeah, well mine's 8.5 inches," and everyone's like, "Oh my god, he said his dick's 8.5. He said it's a half inch longer," and like everyone in the gym goes over to that guy because he said his dick's a half inch longer. And no one's seen any dicks yet. Well, everyone's seen the 8 inch long dick, but no one's verified whether the half inch longer dick is even real, or the erection only produced a 7.5 inch long dick somehow, but they're saying it's 8.5.
It was cold.
Yeah. Now I don't know. listen, we could go right now on our website and bump all our horsepower numbers up by 10 horsepower. I mean, anyone can put whatever they want on the websites. What we always do is we do thorough, rigorous dyno testing at sea level. Like, if I look hard enough, I can see the ocean right over there. We are not at 5,000 feet like Integrated Engineering, and they're doing their dyno testing in Salt Lake City at elevation. And I don't know if you guys have seen, but they have this like a very ingenious fan setup, and I believe it's a compound, so it's one fan blowing into another fan to pressurize their air box to simulate sea level air pressure. It's pretty dubious. I would not want to be doing my company's testing that way. I would much rather do it at sea level. So it's hard to say like how accurate their dyno numbers are based on this pressurized. I mean, they're literally pressurizing their factory airbox. And the funny thing is, they're very open about this. I think they actually brag about it because
they've talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah, they're proud of it. But it's interesting how few customers talk about that or question that. So it's like, if I was a customer out there and I saw what IE was doing, I'd be like, thanks for sharing your advertised horsepower numbers. I'm just a little skeptical because you have this kind of cobbled together
it's
dyno
it's a very non-standard measurement technique.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so they're basically saying that they're perfectly simulating, the air density at sea level with this pressurized. I don't know. It's there's so many variables that they introduce with their numbers. So as a result, all of their numbers appear to be higher or inflated.
Stock on up through, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of, and this is another point we always talk about, is they're rating the factory base horsepower 20 horsepower higher than we are. 30 horsepower. So if you do that, all your numbers are automatically 30 horsepower higher, right? This is kind of like entering a jumping contest and having 3-inch thick shoes on. Of course, you're going to jump 3 inches higher because you started.
The top of your head will be, but your feet aren't going to leave the ground anymore than the other guy.
No, but the height is measured by how high you can jump.
Yep.
So, regardless, our response is congratulations on releasing a tuning product. As far as horsepower and speed goes, if you can't beat our trap times, then you're not actually making more horsepower than we are. If they are able to run higher trap speeds than we are, great, congratulations. And I think we have been planning on releasing a potential update.
We have some stage 1 updates
for stage
that
one.
we've worked on it with some development. Just work that was done with the 720 files.
Yeah.
Where we
that will net a little more power.
Yeah, it's all part of the process. And more they've been done for a while actually. Nick put all that together. But yeah, it's just iterative updates. It's also just we're at a point where we feel what we're making right now is we've track tested it, we've road tested it, we've
it's bulletproof.
Run this through the ringer.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always more juice to the squeeze, but how hard do you squeeze?
Yeah, but keep in mind, 30 horsepower is built into their base,
right?
So it's just funny though. People take the bait,
it's so hard,
hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, it's these marketing.
And everyone's like, "Oh, they're making more horsepower."
Yeah.
Like, well, it's just what they said,
right?
And they haven't even run a faster time yet. So, and one guy was like, "What say you 034?" And I was like, there's nothing to say. They haven't run a faster time.
The dynos, we keep saying this, is the dynos are so hard to compare in any way that makes any difference.
Yeah.
Like the closest you can get is trying to do like a percentage offset from stock, but then just again, how is it being measured? It's an incredibly difficult thing to put that much weight into, but it's unfortunately something we have to publish.
Well, there's literally there was at least one 034 customer who was thinking about switching because of IE's dyno numbers that they publish. It's just like, dude, come on.
But then then you compare the actual what's been run and you know, the
Like,
draggy stuff.
anyone can
the
say
actual quarter
anything.
mile stuff.
Yeah, you can just make up
It
whatever.
looks like a very different picture. So
I guess we should just announce, congratulations, everyone. We increased our dyno numbers by 60 horsepower.
we had so many
for
people,
free.
when we ran dyno days. So when we used to do public dyno events here, and people would dyno their cars, we had people legitimately upset and frustrated that our dyno, you know, doesn't read some extraordinary, you know, out of this ballpark number when they can take their car up the street to some other shop that's got this massively inflated dyno and they think their car is faster now because they put down some bigger number. It's like, no, our dyno is calibrated as it, you know, from Mustang. We have had Mustang engineers here to validate it.
Well, you know that saying, truth hurts.
I don't know. Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss. All right, let's keep moving on. Is a mobile flasher coming?
Yep.
We are working on one, and it's working, and we've tested it.
Yeah, I don't know, you know, how much we want to get into it, but yeah,
Yeah.
we are flashing vehicles from phones right now.
Well, one of our competitors has been talking about it since last
Sure.
November.
Yep,
so
and
we
we've
should
been working on similar, but so we'll tease more. But yes, it is in the works,
and there still isn't available, but they've been saying it's coming since November.
and that's always the, you know, we like to, you know, it's not even that we're like spilling the beans on our development stuff, but it's like, you know,
Well, just like
we don't drag people along.
we like to
on
set healthy
expectations,
expectations when possible, and we don't always get it right, and we try. What would you say is the most optimal pulley ratio for stage 2 plus E40 on the B8.5 S4 to avoid feeling issues?
I really like the 179 lower and the well. So I have
what ratio?
I have our upper. I got to look honestly.
Yeah.
I haven't.
I really think I wish years ago we would have shifted the language on B8 away from pulley sizes and to ratios.
Yeah.
There's some guy on YouTube railing about 205 pulleys, and I'm like, there's no such thing as a 205 pulley. There's the ratio the supercharger sees, and that's really so. I like this question. Maybe you want to take a look.
Well, I got to look honestly. My brain.
Yeah, why don't you take a look, and then
right
we'll come back to it. Does the TTA 810 create more power with high performance cat or catless downpipe? I'm not sure we've tested that, but the 810 currently is not limited by exhaust flow. It's, you know, it's limited by, like, you know, motor strength and fuel system capacity. Right. So I don't. If I were you, I would run a high flow cat or a racing cat. I think full. Dude, every once in a while I drive behind a car that I know is catless. It's disgusting. I don't even care if you hate the environment. It's gnarly. Torque spec guidance for B9 S4 super duper inlets. I wouldn't have that off the top of my head, but it's the same as factory. Yeah. If you'd like, those are M6 fasteners, I believe. You can look up online for, you know, the standard torque spec, but I would normally say about 3/4 of a grunt is what you need.
Some people are having issues with the bottom bolt backing out on a competitor product.
Really?
It's either due to they're not getting.
It's hard to tighten. I think the only reason that would be is it's either, well, the practical reason would be that it's difficult to get enough torque on it, but there could be kind of an issue with their product, the way it's designed, where, you know, the bolt doesn't seat on a flat surface, and so with a little heat and vibration it can loosen. Ours is precisely machined flat. I think I don't know, I don't even want to say a number, but a very moderate amount of torque on that, and I don't even know if you can get a torque wrench in there. I mean, you just need to snug these bolts up. It's not rocket science.
Back to the pulley discussion.
Yeah.
Before. I mean,
Supercharger pulley ratio.
Yeah, just a little over three is where
for a 2 plus.
For a 2 plus is
yeah,
where
3.0.
Yeah.
So that's
3.1. I think is what the 179 works out to be with the 57.7 upper.
Power.
Yeah, we are powering.
Yeah.
There's no way we're
not going to get to all the questions. So yeah,
and we're talking about good stuff. You can get rid of the update questions. That would be a good start. Only 2 weeks as a new Audi owner, stage 1, 0 through 4 tune. We'll be buying more parts, tunes very soon. Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're happy. Welcome aboard. Tearing down a 3.0 TFSI as we speak in preparation for all the upcoming goodies. If you do a pre-order on the cams and such, how would you reach out to let us know? We will be doing a pre-order. We will announce it via all the usual channels here on our social media, etc. We can even do an email to B8 owners.
I don't know that we'd be doing a limited quantity, so it should just be, if you want to get it on the pre-order, you get it on the pre-order.
No, there's no limit. But it'll be a pre-order so that you can buy it. Basically, when the cams hit the ocean from
The Europes.
Denmark, wherever CAD cams is, when they hit the ocean, we will initiate the group the pre-buy. But we don't want to do it before then. Once they hit the ocean, we'll have a pretty accurate ETA as to delivery time. When you guys fix the ABS issue, the B9.5 SQ5s have when launching the vehicle, can't stand the torque reduction, kills the 60-foot performance.
What is?
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, no, it's there, but
It's like a front nose lift.
right. Yeah,
The front comes up too fast.
Right.
It just comes apart.
Yeah.
It's something to do with the slow map and fast map.
we don't have, we're not in. There are no plans for us to remap anything ABS related. Anything that is
Not the ABS.
anything that is being intervened by the factory traction control systems, in that way, like if it's an ABS intervention, is not something that we are going to be. We're not going to be remapping the ABS system. I'll leave it at that.
I mean, that'd be nice if we could. Is it something that
Mine does it.
is it like? Can you like air up the back and?
I've played with it, and sometimes you can avoid it, but usually it's just your best you're ever gonna get. 6 foot, it's like 168.
Yeah,
It's still fucking.
it's still
It's
it's just not 1.5.
yeah. Advanced launch. So
Are there really fast SQ5s having that issue too?
same.
I think all of them,
yeah.
Same
Yeah.
issue. He's not air right. He's
Yeah. Static. Any hot burning questions I should jump on? Any chance of a stage 3 for B8.5? Yes, Merc Racing is working on one. It's in the works.
Yep.
And it's been for a while, but we plan on supporting that.
do not know.
We do not know when it will be released. It's something Merc Racing is working on and providing. We will provide tuning support for that. I installed a crank pulley 188 mil, and my tuner had a concern that there is no rubber in it, so the crankshaft might wear down quickly. Is this something you guys have run into before?
We have never seen a single issue
No.
related to a solid pulley front crank pulley on these.
No,
motors.
and a rubber isolated crank damper has nothing to do with crankshaft wear. It has to do with reducing vibration and harmonics in the rotation of the crankshaft at various engine speeds. It definitely it can affect NVH, although there's no our crank pulleys do not cause more NVH in the motor, but maybe the motors are a little, you can hear them louder or something. People don't seem to care.
The biggest thing we have seen is the factory pulley
Yeah.
falls apart and can wreak havoc on a large number of things in the front of the motor when it does come apart. So there is that concern if you want to worry about crank.
But there are tens of thousands of
pulleys.
B8s out there running with solid crank pulleys that have been for at least 5-6 years.
Yep.
Many of them on our
There is
crank pulleys.
there is
no issues.
There is no rubber isolated pulley for the B8 that is going to be an overdrive pulley.
Right.
Every single one of them, whether they bolt over and you keep your stock damper on there, you still are introducing a fixed pulley onto the crankshaft of that engine.
Right.
So I mean, it's just
Yeah, even the fluid damper option.
no, fluid damper was that's not rubber isolated. So
No,
that
it's
one
not
has
rubber.
its own
It's not
isolation,
rubber.
but
It has a vibration damper
yeah.
in it. But no, it's really not an issue.
Yeah, we've seen zero indication that it's an issue on that motor.
It's also not a new thing in the tuning aftermarket. I mean, people have been putting solid crank pulleys on Hondas and everything for 30 years. I have your guys' stage 2 tune. I noticed in 4th and 5th, high RPMs, it stutters with boost. However, when disable ESC and traction and get on it, it pulls hard. Is that a thing? Mk7.5 GTI.
I mean, it's if it changes only and your only change is the traction control stuff. My hunch is that you're actually getting some intervention from the
Yeah.
traction control.
Yeah.
It will intervene based on acceleration rates depending on what gear you're in. So that's likely what you're seeing. I don't know.
He follows up and says, only happens when I roll into throttle. However, if I wide open throttle, it does not stutter.
I don't know. I mean, if it's again, if it goes away when you turn off traction control and ESC, then
Right.
it's something is intervening.
So congratulations.
Yeah.
Enjoy the
I don't.
horsepower.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We could try and log it and see if we can see anything in particular there. But again, if it completely goes away and you're unable to recreate it with traction control off, then it's likely your ABS intervening.
Are there any plans to increase the power of the current stage 1/2/3 tunes for B9 3.0T? We will always release more power for tunes when we find it safely. There's not a lot of opportunity, I'll warn you, unless someone just maybe a competitor just makes up some dyno numbers that are a lot higher.
Well, you can always push it way past reasonable limits too. I mean, you can make.
But that's not something we want.
No, you can.
And that's not something
you can make more power on a car, probably, but to do that in a engineered
Production
and viable way, at this level, they're not the same thing.
I think what you have to ask yourself is, how much do you want 10 more horsepower? How much do you want a blown motor?
Yep.
If you're willing to risk a $20,000 blown motor for 10 horsepower, let us know and we'll send you some nice tunes.
Hey, no.
And they're like $5,000.
Right, yeah, because we just don't want to be in that. That's not.
We're not in the business of blowing up motors, and we haven't. One of our competitors blew up 20 motors in like a week once, and that's not something we're interested in. So, but at the same time, don't take that to mean that our tunes are slow and conservative either, and that gets twisted.
It's tough.
as
Yeah,
well.
that is a good point. Things get construed as like you have these conservative tunes, or you have
It's not conservative; it's safe and optimized.
it's an optimized for all of this stuff we're testing.
All right, I think we're out of time.
We are definitely out of time yet. Cool.
Actually,
Thanks,
not
guys.
too bad.
Yeah, no, we still have a pile of questions, so sorry we couldn't get to everything.
Sorry, we try to get to all of it and also talk substantively about various questions that do come in. So, thanks again. I think we'll see you guys next week as usual. We look forward to it. Cheers.
Cheers.